Many philosophers and sages have written about the integrity and moral virtue of honesty. Confucius advocated for the concept of rectification of names, implying that one's actions and words should align with truth and reality, a principle closely linked to honesty. Confucius underscored the virtue of shin, translating to faithfulness or integrity, which involves a steadfast adherence to truth in both speech and actions. His ideal of the gentleman or zhongzi embodies this virtue, serving as a model of moral rectitude, including honesty for society. In governance, Confucius stressed the importance of honest and transparent leadership, essential for social harmony and order. His central philosophy of Ren, often understood as humaneness or benevolence, encompasses qualities such as empathy and moral duty, underpinning the necessity of honesty in interpersonal relationships. Confucius, honesty was not merely a social obligation, but a crucial aspect of self-cultivation and personal improvement, integral to achieving harmony both within oneself and in one's relationships with others. This holistic approach to honesty, combining personal integrity with social responsibility, offers valuable guidance for navigating ethical challenges in both personal and professional realms. The Tao Te Ching, an ancient Chinese text attributed to the philosopher Lao Tzu, is a foundational work in Taoist philosophy. While it doesn't address the concept of honesty in a direct manner as contemporary Western texts might, its verses do encompass ideas that relate to truthfulness, authenticity, and living in harmony with the Tao or the Way. The Tao Te Ching advocates for a life of simplicity and naturalness, emphasizing actions that are in harmony with the Tao or the natural way of things. This philosophy aligns with a form of honesty that involves being true to one's inherent nature, avoiding pretense and deceit. It also stresses the importance of authenticity, urging one to be genuine and true to oneself and the inherent nature of things. The Tao Te Ching advises against contention, striving, or forcing situations, suggesting that honesty involves not manipulating or imposing one's will on others or the world. Lao Tzu, the reputed author, highlights the power of the unsaid, hinting at an aspect of honesty in communication that values truthfulness and the significance of silence, avoiding false or misleading speech. The text speaks to achieving inner harmony and peace, which involves aligning one's actions with the Tao, akin to being honest with oneself and living in accordance with one's true nature. Finally, it discusses the concept of day, which encompasses living in a way that is harmonious with the Tao and includes virtues such as integrity, humility, and simplicity, closely associated with honesty.
While the concept of honesty as a positive and virtuous trait cannot be disputed, there are challenges that can arise in certain complex situations. The issue is not with honesty itself, but how honesty can interact in certain complex social, personal, and ethical situations. As an example,
Social harmony versus truth. Sometimes being completely honest can disrupt social harmony or hurt someone's feelings. For instance, sharing an unvarnished opinion might be truthful, but it could also be seen as tactless or insensitive in certain social contexts. Regarding honesty and confidentiality, there are situations where being honest might conflict with the obligation to maintain confidentiality. This is especially relevant in professions like law, medicine, or counseling, where professionals might know truths that they are ethically or legally bound not to disclose. In blunt honesty versus diplomacy or politics, or even in everyday workplace interactions, there's often a need to balance honesty with tact and diplomacy. Being too blunt or straightforward can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or conflicts. Sometimes people use truth as a weapon. Honesty can sometimes be used manipulatively. For example, someone might use a truthful statement to harm or undermine another person, a practice sometimes referred to as weaponized honesty. There are cultural differences in honesty. In some cultures, being direct and straightforward is valued, while in others, more indirect or nuanced forms of communication are preferred. In some professions, honesty can pose a real risk to one's career. Whistleblowers, for example, often face significant professional and personal risks when they disclose honest information about wrongdoing in an organization. Sometimes we are faced with moral dilemmas where honesty might conflict with ethical principles. A classic example is the philosophical question of whether it's ethical to lie to protect someone from harm. So, while honesty is a key principle in building trust and maintaining integrity, its application can be complex and context-dependent, requiring a careful balance with other social, ethical, and personal considerations. To further ourselves in our personal development, there are some key points to consider. Remember that true honesty goes beyond social conformity, or what is conventionally accepted as honest behavior. Honesty is not just about speaking the truth, but understanding the deeper truths about life and oneself. What prevents us from being honest with ourselves? One answer is fear. Fear often prevents individuals from being truly honest with themselves and others. Overcoming this fear is essential for genuine honesty. But just as there is a relationship between fear and honesty, there is a relationship between freedom and honesty. Being honest, especially with oneself, is a path to psychological freedom, as it involves the shedding of illusions and false identities. We need to be able to have honesty in our relationships. Honesty in expressing one's thoughts and feelings is crucial for the health and depth of relationships. Lastly, in regards to self-understanding, we need to understand oneself honestly and without bias. True honesty begins with being truthful about one's own thoughts, emotions, and motives. Self-deception is a major barrier to understanding and freedom. How can we practice to be more honest with ourselves? We need to realize the importance of self-reflection to understand one's true nature and shortcomings. By recognizing our own faults and working to correct them, we can be more honest with ourselves. We need to be genuine in our thoughts and actions. By being sincere, one is not only honest with others but also with oneself, acknowledging true feelings and motivations. Make sure your words and actions are aligned. Lastly, the pursuit of learning and wisdom is crucial for confronting biases and ignorance, leading to a deeper understanding of oneself.